Shout I love it out loud.
Hell or High Water or Hallelujah?
Hotter than rock and roll hell or hallelujah or high water.
Going snowblind.
Let me go rock and roll all night.
I stole your love gun.
Keep me coming home.
King of the creatures of the crazy, crazy nighttime world without heroes.
Oh, that one's going to be hard to beat. Hotter than hell in the shade.
Burn, Beth, burn. Where do you go from there?
Rip it out loud.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 8 of the Rip and Destroy podcast. We're going to have some fun today. Last time we were on a couple weeks ago, we were talking about the song Shandy, and it got us thinking about, and honestly, I always really dug that song. We'll get to that in a minute. I was surprised that so many other people did not like that song, and it kind of brought up the topic of what are a bunch of songs that people like don't dig, but we kind of really like. It's kind of a strange topic, but I don't really know how else to set it up. What do you think?
Well, I think everybody's got different tastes, and I think all the Kiss fans out there have probably their favorites. They're not favorites, they're guilty pleasures, and everybody's going to be different. So, uh, we all come from, metal backgrounds or pop backgrounds or classic rock backgrounds. So I'm sure with all the different things in the Kiss catalog, there are plenty of diverse opinions out there. And so I'm sure lots of people have lots of favorites that other Kiss fans are going to be like, really, dude, that song? But let's, I don't have a problem confessing which ones I like, and I'd love to hear yours too. So that's today's topic is unpopular Kiss songs
Unpopular Kiss songs that we really
that we
dig.
like.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was thinking about this. I'm like, what are the rules? What are the parameters? And when I was coming up with my list, that changed probably, 8 or 9 different times. I was thinking about songs that were never played live in the US. And then I was thinking about songs that never showed up on any compilations. And there's been a million and one different compilations. And it still left me with a ton to work with. So I came
Yeah,
up
I
with
didn't
five. You
even
came up with five.
Yeah, I didn't even really put those kind of parameters on myself, but I guess they apply to they don't apply to all my choices, I don't think. And we did this time tell each other what our choices were going to be. So with that, yeah, I think we can probably just jump in. I don't have any housekeeping stuff this week, do you?
I have none. I think we can
No,
just jump right in.
we're clean. Go
Cool.
ahead.
Well, let me go ahead and start this off because I already brought it up, so it's a great place to start because it kind of defines the whole topic for today, and that is the song Shandy. I am not a fan of the Unmasked album at all. I think it's probably got two good tracks on it, Shandy and Is That You? And I found I kind of have this theory that songs with women's names in the title are typically really good songs, like Teresa by All or Darling Nikki. And this is one of them. It kind of keeps the streak alive. And so what I had to do when I was thinking about this one, because I was surprised that you were surprised that I dug it. So
Really?
yeah, I was mowing the lawn yesterday and I'm thinking about it. And what I did is I kind of broke it up into pieces. And I broke it up into a million and one pieces, and I realized that every piece of that song that's not Paul Stanley is god awful. It really is on many different levels. It's a horrible song. It really is, except for Paul. And it got me thinking about the song Radio Gaga by Queen, which is one of my all-time favorite Queen songs. But I was listening to it in the shower one day, realizing that the genius of that song is Freddie Mercury because everything else absolutely sucks. If you hear an instrumental version of that song, it's horrible. But Freddie is just so amazing. And I think the same rule applies to Shandy because Paul's great. It's got a great melody, it's got a great hook, he sings it well. Everything else is really soft rock. I can't believe it opens the record, but I'll die on this hill. I dig the song Shandy. What do you
Okay.
think?
Well, one uh one rule that we forgot to mention is that it is open season on each other's choices. So
Let's have it.
yeah. Okay, first off, I disagree about Radio Gaga, but this is not a Queen podcast, so we're not going to get into that. Second, it's really funny that you mentioned what you say about how everything is that's not Paul on Shandy sucks,
Uh,
because Paul Stanley is the only member of Kiss playing on that song.
well,
I'm ser
I
No, I'm
wish.
serious. One of their roadies, shit, I forgot his name. One of their roadies is playing bass,
Okay.
and then there's somebody on keyboards, and then Anton Fig is on drums.
Yep.
Gene Ace and Eric or Peter, or whoever. Well, we know that Anton Fig did the drums on Unmasked. Um, Gene and Ace are not on that song. So Paul is probably the only good thing about that song because Paul is the only Kiss member on that song.
I did not
Um,
realize that. I did know that. Well, I know now that Anton Fig played drums on that one. I wish I had known when I was back in junior high when I actually met him at a drum convention. Then we would have had something far cooler to talk about than David Letterman. But here we are. I didn't know.
yeah. By the way, it doesn't open the record. Is That You opens the record.
Oh, there it is. Fact check.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even have to look that one up, man. But I do think there are more good songs than that on Unmasked. But yeah, Shandy is just um, as far as songs with girls' names in the titles, yes, let's continue the tradition of Christine 16 and and fart out Shandy. And I don't really understand why you're surprised that I would be surprised that you would like that song because man, that's even if Unmasked has some good songs on it, I don't think that's one of them. But hey, I know it was a huge hit in Australia, so like I said, different strokes.
In Australia, where they say dynasty. All right, we're just getting warmed
Like
up.
they do.
What
Yeah,
do you
but
got?
okay. Well, I mean, I can't make fun of you too much because my first choice is Odyssey off
Okay.
Music from the Elder, which is a big, syrupy, goopy, wasn't even written by Kiss. That was written by Tony Powers. And but I do think it is a beautifully written song. Much like the rest of the Elder, the general consensus on the Elder is that it's a good album, but not a good Kiss album, and I think that applies to Odyssey as well. It is a beautiful song, and I have looked at like other versions. A lot of there are not a lot of cover versions of it to know what he's surprised, but the Kiss version is still by far the best, even including the one that Tony Powers himself recorded, because it is a very epic song. And with between the Bob Ezrin producing and whatever budget that they had at the time, which I don't even know how much that was in 1980, but um, it's a really grandiose song. I think it's impressive. Paul's vocals are serviceable. I think that song has potential to be even better, though. I think if you got a different vocalist who could bring some gravitas, whether it's a male or a female vocalist, who could bring some gravitas and some epic, you know, perspective on that song, I think it could be really a really amazing song. That said, no, I agree it is not a great Kiss song, but I do think it's a really interesting song.
Well,
So
as much as I owe you a receipt for the last one, I got nothing. I love that song. Honestly, I think the whole record probably fits into this category of,
yeah.
things that have been overlooked or people don't necessarily care for that I really dig, and I do. I think I'd probably put Elder in my top five records. I love the Bob Ezrin production. I like that they tried something new. I think Odyssey has a really cool bridge to it, and I dig the song. So, good
The
choice.
bridge is actually the only part that I could do without. The whole child in a sundress thing. Okay, whatever. I mean,
We're just not compatible, you and I.
no, I we shouldn't even be friends. We shouldn't. Why do we have a podcast even? Jesus.
All right, man. Well, I'm excited to see what you're going to do with this one. My second choice, and again, another hill that I will die on, is Out of This World. I love that song. I think that song absolutely cranks. I like the vocals. I like the solo. I like this. I just think it's a straight up great rock and roll song. And back in June of 2018, I went to a show in Portland at the Doug Fir Lounge, and it was only billed as Tommy Thayer and Friends. And there was a picture of him in, full makeup and regalia, and it was a benefit for the drummer of Black and Blue. His wife was struggling with cancer at the time, so it was a fundraiser for her. but we really had no idea what Tommy was going to do. And I was really looking forward to the show and really hoping that he was going to do this song because, to my knowledge, I don't think Kiss has ever played it live. And unfortunately,
Hmm.
he didn't. He did the whole Black and Blue set. It was still really great, but I was hoping to hear this song. And to me, a couple years before that, in 2016, when I saw Kiss in Eugene, it would have made a lot more sense to me for them to play Out of This World than Shock Me. Because to me, Shock Me is just the prototypical Ace Frehley song. And
Yeah.
this one would have made a lot more sense to me. But I love the song, and I think it earned its place onto the list. What do you think?
So Tommy didn't play any Kiss stuff at that show?
Nobody played any Kiss stuff at all at
Okay.
that
Well, that
show.
was probably, I'm sure Gene probably would have slapped him with a C and D had he tried. So,
They did auction off a Paul guitar, but that was it. But it was
okay.
kind of, yeah, it was kind of telling that nobody played any Kiss stuff at all,
Sure.
including him. This song especially makes me kind of wish that Tommy would do a solo record. And I don't know if he's recorded anything since the band broke up. He hasn't. His brother John has. His brother John does some really cool music, John Thayer. As a matter of fact, I got this CD right here called Don't Look Back that the man
Nice.
gave me himself that's really quite good. But I'm hoping Tommy does a solo record because I like this song. But what do you think?
Well, I mean, it's an all right song. I don't hate it. I am a little bit annoyed that on both Sonic Boom and Monster, they had to, they felt they had to give Tommy a spaceman themed song, right? You had When Lightning Strikes, and then you had Out of This World, and then Eric had a couple of songs about being out on the street, and it's just, it was kind of, I
Yeah.
felt that it was a little bit pandering. Like, no, he's a spaceman. He really is. We're gonna have him sing some songs about space and lightning and shit.
Yeah, but the very first line to Out of This World is I was born into the human race. I think it's like, is he a spaceman?
Eh, well, I don't know. Apparently, he's out of this world. So, um, and I mean, I think it does have kind of a cool groove to it. Especially the like kind of the cowbell and the riff during the verse part. But I think I liked that the first time I heard it when it was called Mississippi Queen. I was just listening to that song the other day because you told me you were gonna pick it, and I'm like, this sounds familiar. And it was very banana. It's very mountain. It's very Mississippi Queen. Although, a thing that I noticed about the whole Monster album is that they really kind of let themselves get away with running with their influences on that record. There's a lot of stuff that sounds like Zeppelin, a lot of stuff
Yeah.
that sounds like, well, that song sounds like Mountain. There's a lot of some Beatlesy stuff on that they kind of really let themselves um they kind of let their influences show on that record a lot, which I mean, it's kind of unique for them, I think, especially being their last studio album. Maybe kind of anything goes, but as far as Out of This World, me, I mean, I don't hate it, but I'll give it to you.
With Monster, I still to this day I don't know if I really like the record or I just like it that much more than Sonic Boom. I think I really like it though.
I'm kind of the same way. I think I like it. I think I like it, but like when I listen to it, I'm always surprised at how much I like it, but at the same time, something about it just doesn't doesn't entirely click with me. But yeah, I don't know. It made your list, so
It
good enough
did.
for me. All right.
What do you got?
So then my next one is a song that we have talked about before on Rip and Destroy, and that is one of my. You know what? All of these, I guess, could be termed guilty pleasures, but I really don't believe in the term guilty pleasure. Either you like something and you don't, and fuck everybody else, right?
Yep.
So with that being said, we're gonna go to All Night.
Well, on the one hand, I think it was Pansy Division that said, take no guilt in your pleasure. That said, dude, you're on your own on this one. So
Yeah.
what are
All
you
right.
thinking?
Okay.
What are you thinking?
Look, that that song has some groove. It's got some swagger, and it's catchy. Man, I love the riff. I love the main riff, man. It's just it swings, man. And when that song came out I don't know what were you, Bill, 11, about
Yeah.
11 years old in 1985. Okay, look, I knew what it was about, but I didn't know a lot about what it was about because I'm 11, right? But back then it was one of the naughtier songs that was out on MTV. or on a record. It was kind of up there with Darling Nikki, those songs that you don't necessarily want your mom hearing you listening to.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it
yeah.
kind of had that appeal to it. Um, and then we got to talk about the video, which
Wait,
is
oh, dude, ugh.
it's hilarious. It's so, and you're probably thinking
Bruce,
this.
Bruce,
Yes,
come
it's
on.
the the video is so silly and so dumb, which is probably why you're cringing at it. And I think I love it because it's hilarious. It's so dumb. Hey, I love I love the retro pinup girls, the silly blondes that are in that video. They're doing the Busby Berkeley geometric choreographed dance routines. It's hilarious. And that giant keyhole, man. But all the bands pop their head through that keyhole. And poor Bruce,
Oh,
Bruce has that.
Bruce.
We'll have to throw up a screenshot right around here of Bruce and that face he makes when he sticks his head in the keyhole. Man, that's the icing on the cake. That's the cherry on top of that video for me, man. But it just that always struck me really funny. But even without the video, dare I say, once you get into that groove, it's almost a headbanger, man. As silly as it is, you can rock out to that song, and I'm here for it. I wish they would have brought that back as a live track. Um, Anywhere from the reunion to the end of the road. They did it on the cruise one year. I think the last year that they did the cruise, I think they pulled that song out. And there's video of it online, and they did a great job. That being said, I'm sticking with it. I love that song.
Wow. To me, the song doesn't really exist without the video. And it was hilarious because doing my homework, I was watching the video today, and two things stood out to me. One, I was seeing it go from the ladies to the band to the ladies, and I was wondering, like, who's got better wigs? Like the band or the ladies? And then when I was watching it, the subtitles were on, which is the funniest thing in the planet. I highly recommend watching that video with subtitles because at one point it just simply says, woo. And then it goes, yeah. But I will give it one thing. I will give it one. It's a great vocal from Paul. I think he rips it up on
Mhm.
that one, especially at the end. There's a great scream on it, but eesh.
All right, man. That's okay with me. I love it.
Okay. Well, another fun thing for me was to kind of review some of the records that aren't favorites and see if I could find any hidden gems on records that like Crazy Nights or Carnival of Souls.
Sure.
And Carnival of Souls for me, never. I've tried two or three different times. It just it doesn't resonate with me on any level, except for the song "I Confess." I think "I Confess" is an absolutely killer song. It's a really cool arrangement. I love Gene's vocals. He's kind of doing that really cool going blind, vocal where he's relying on his natural voice.
Mhm.
And I just think it's great dynamics, really unique song. It's unlike anything else that they've done, and I dig it. I think it's a standout track on that record. Not a favorite record, definitely one of my favorite tracks though.
Yeah, I can't get into that record either. I've tried to, and I don't really care for it. I find it to be generally a really insincere record. That's the
Yeah.
best word I've ever been able to come up with to describe Carnival of Souls because all I can think of was the Kiss Extreme close-up video where Gene is kind of making fun of Black Sabbath. And he's
Hmm.
like, this ain't Black Sabbath, pal. We're not moping around going, oh, everything is terrible. You're gonna die. And then they came out with Carnival of Souls, where every song is, "Oh, everything is terrible, you're gonna die." So I found that to be kind of a bullshit record. They were definitely chasing kind of the grunge trend.
Yeah.
Um, but yes, that being said, there are a couple of there's some okay moments on that. And when you brought up "I Confess," I took another listen to it. Quite honestly, I did not remember that song off the top of my head when you
Hmm.
said it. I wasn't even sure which album it was on, but I found it and it's an okay song. My only problem with it, and I can't make fun of the song. My only criticism really is, I kind of like it, but it, kind of goes through the quiet part and then, the chorus kicks in and it gets kind of rocking. And I feel like that ends just as you're kind of getting into it.
Okay.
So, um, but that being said, I like the melody and I like the song. Like I said, I'm not gonna make fun of it, but it wouldn't be my pick.
I'd like to hear a version that was produced better, recorded for real.
Sure.
But you make a really good point. The whole keep it quiet, kick the distortion pedal on the chorus was very 19 mid 90s, early mid 90s. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And actually, I'm a little bit surprised that I will say I'm a little surprised that you like that one because it's a little Beatles-esque.
I like Let Me Know too.
It brings in that,
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, nobody can write a Beatles song like Gene Simmons, which is weird, but when he really lets himself go into Beatles mode, he writes a really Beatlesy song.
Yeah.
And that one had a little bit more Beatles influence that I figured you would like because I know how much you love the Beatles.
Which is not at all.
It's just not at all. You got a thing against the Beatles. I'm not a fan of the Beatles necessarily, but I don't even hate them as much as you do. So,
Yeah, I don't know if
um,
anyone does. I don't know if it's possible.
no. Um, but that being said, it mixes a little bit of that with a little bit of aggression. So I
Mhm.
find it kind of interesting. I'll give you that one too.
Right on. Right on.
Cool.
All right,
So
sir.
as long as we're on the subject of Carnival of Souls, there is one track on that album that I feel stands out, and that is Childhood's End.
Okay.
Not too many. I don't have a whole lot of notes on it, other than just I really like the riff, I like the chorus, I like the melody, and I just think it's a strong song on an album that is otherwise not super strong, and I think it's a catchy song on an album that doesn't have a lot of catchy songs.
That makes perfect sense. One thing that really stands out to me about that song is the lyrics, especially coming
Yeah,
from Gene, who's not in the habit of writing really great, mature lyrics. I think these are really
right.
great, mature lyrics.
Yeah,
It's
they
got a
are.
killer,
They're very street level.
yeah,
Talking about kind of reality and kind of tragedy on a kind of a realistic level. That whole it's very New York.
okay.
It feels. Yeah, I mean maybe because he mentions the New York Times or whatever right away, but it feels very real world for him.
It's got a really good bass line too, especially at the end.
Hmm.
He really tears it up at the end on the bass line. I'm not a huge fan of the song. I don't like the way he sings the first half of it, especially, which could have been
Hmm.
because it was probably just the demo. And I think the song kind of drags a little bit, but but
Fair.
there's something there. There's something there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have too much more to say about that one.
Okay. Well, next one on my list actually happened because as part of my research, I went on to a lot of different Reddit streams, 10 worst Kiss songs, what Kiss songs do you hate? And I was really shocked that there was one song that turned up on like almost every single list that I saw that really stood out to me because it was from Dress to Kill. And I'm of the opinion that there are no bad songs on Dress to Kill. I think that's a killer record. I think it's damn near bulletproof. And
Hmm.
the one song that people were bagging on was Getaway. And I don't get it. I don't get it at all. I dig the song. It's a killer Ace Frehley song. He wrote it. He wasn't singing yet. He gave it to Peter. I thought Peter killed it. I think if you want to pick on Peter songs, you got a lot to work with. You got the whole solo record. You got Hooligan. I think Hooligan's a way better choice. I don't
For
understand
sure.
Hooligan. I don't understand why somebody would drop out of school at 22 unless you're dropping out of medical school. That said,
At that
Getaway,
point, you're not a hooligan. How
exactly.
did a hooligan get into med school or grad school? Right. I think we've discussed that at length before.
You're not a hooligan. You're a college graduate. Dr. Chris Cola, come on. Um, but
Dr. Hooligan,
paging Dr. Hooligan.
PhD.
But I like Getaway. I think it's a killer song on a killer record, and I don't know why I saw it on damn near every single Reddit post that I read on songs people didn't like from Kiss. What do you think?
Yeah, and I understand why you picked it because of that, but I have no notes on Getaway. It's a good song too. It's as far as Peter songs go, it's one of his I mean, I love his rockin' tracks, I mean, he's great on Strange Ways, he's great on
Yeah.
Getaway, he's great on Baby Driver. It was
Yeah.
just when Beth became a hit that they decided he had to be the ballad guy. Right. So then
Mhm.
they did Hard Luck Woman, and then they did, he did his solo record, and then, you fast forward all the way to Psycho Circus, and then that I finally found my way, which is a stinker. Um, but no, no notes on Getaway. It's a good tune. Ace's solo rocks on that song. Ace is on fire throughout Dress to Kill, to be
Mhm.
honest, and Getaway is no exception. Yeah, no, I'm with you on that hill, brother.
Nice, nice. Well, speaking of Beth, it's not on my list, but on an earlier draft of my list on the director's cut, I did have Eric Carr's version of Beth, but I thought that was too easy.
Why is it you can we can go there. What was your beef with it? Just because it's not him or just because it's the song or
I love Eric, I really do. I just think it's unnecessary. If I had to
right.
describe it, I'd just say, why?
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I understand why they had Eric Singer do it on the End of the Road tour
Mhm.
because they felt they had to include one of their biggest hits on, their final tour. But yeah, I don't yeah, the Eric Carr version, it was just kind of like a we're doing it just because we can thing,
Right,
I guess.
right.
So yeah. All right.
A little bonus cut there for you.
Yeah, little extra, little bonus content. Okay, so I'm up.
Yep,
So my next one is going to be off Psycho Circus. I absolutely love, and probably my favorite track on Psycho Circus is Journey of a Thousand Years.
that's the one. That's the one. Damn, that's a good
Honestly,
choice.
honestly think it's one of the best songs Gene has ever written.
Yes.
I mean, out of all of them, and I love stuff like Dr. Love, and Deuce and all that, and Almost Human. I really, it's again, if we're talking about Gene being kind of mature, I think, in his writing and his lyrics, I think Journey of a Thousand Years is it. It's got huge emotional weight to it. Honestly, I think it's the only thing they've done since 1976 that could have been a track on Destroyer.
Mm,
It's
mm,
To me, it's almost Great Expectations Part Two. It's because it's kind of mystical. It also talks about being a rock band a little bit when they're talking, the line, can you feel it coming or is it the roar of the crowd? I love it. I think it's again, even though they put in a lot of people didn't like Destroyer when they added all the orchestrations, all the Bob Ezrin stuff. But they put in, there's strings in Journey of a Thousand Years. There's the twinkling bells at the beginning and all that mystical sounding shit. But I love it. I think it was a perfect ending to that record, and it's a track that I can put on repeat over and over, and I love it. I don't know. And I don't know for a fact that how many people don't like it. I have heard of a lot of people who really dig that track, but I don't feel like it would be a standout among hardcore Kiss fans.
mm.
But it's on my list.
No, I get it. I get it. When I listened to it after you sent me your list, I was a little mad because I'm like, that, damn it, that's perfect. That's why didn't I think of that? It really bothered me. I think more than anything, with the exception of the title track, people kind of just dismiss the whole record. But I think it's a killer song. One of the things for me that really makes the song work, it would almost drag without what Kevin Valentine did on the drums. He keeps it
Yeah.
moving forward, and he does something really unique with it, which I think is fantastic. And one thought I had when I was listening to it is why the hell couldn't we have 10 of these on Asshole? Like Gene's solo record,
Right.
because it would be so killer. It's such a great song and perfect choice. Perfect choice.
Thank you.
Definitely. So for my last one, speaking of Eric Carr's Beth, the last one on my list is Little Caesar. Now, I'm of the opinion that there are only two good songs on Hot in the Shade, Rise to It and Little Caesar. But I think Little Caesar is a hell of a song. I think that he didn't write a whole lot, but he wrote some really compelling stuff, like Under the Rose and Little Caesar and All Hell's Breaking Loose. And and I think his vocals on this song, more than anything, really stand out. And when you think about what he was able to write and how well he sang leads on this one, and how kick-ass he sounded in '84 when he did Young and Wasted. I just don't understand why they didn't do more with him, especially vocally, but I really dig the song Little Caesar.
Okay. You're on your own. I really, I don't hate it, but it does nothing for me, like most of Hot in the Shade, including Rise to It.
Really?
Yeah, I've Hot in the Shade is the only Kiss studio album that I do not own. I and I have never really had any interest in adding it to the collection just for the sake of adding it to the collection. Not a huge fan of that record. There's too many songs on it, and none of them are great. I just not something that I find myself wanting to listen to. That being said, Little Caesar, when I listened to it ahead of this episode, it's fine, but it does nothing for me at all. So, um, yeah, I'm glad to hear what appeals to you about it, but it's not for me.
Fair enough.
Okay, so it's time for my last one, right?
That's it. What do you got?
Okay. Okay. And I'm glad this is the last one because I probably have the most to say about this one. Okay. I absolutely love She. But now you're probably going to say, well, everybody loves She. It's
Who
a great
does it?
song. Yeah, it was on Alive. I'm talking about the Wicked Lester version of She.
That's
Dude,
like a deeper than deep cut.
dude, it's so good. She's so good. That song is so good. Okay. And now, don't get me wrong. I love the Kiss version. The Kiss version is cool and it's kind of heavy and it's kind of weird, but I love that early 70s vibe of the Wicked Lester version.
Okay,
It is
you
a,
have to defend your thesis. What are you
it's
thinking?
a, it's a time capsule. Oh, I got this. It is a time capsule of the early 70s. Man, it's got bongos. It's got flute. It's got a horn section. It's got a bunch of noodly guitar in it. It's even got it's got some waka chicka. It's got the waka chicka. Hell yeah. Okay. And this is the reason that I love that song. Okay. Because it totally sounds like it belongs in like a 70s action movie. Okay.
Honestly,
Because,
I was thinking Quentin Tarantino, straight up.
oh, I'm thinking more like dirty old grindhouse movie, right? So imagine, so when I'm listening to that song, all I can think of is like a scene of like, okay, like an undercover cop in New York City. Okay. And he's walking down the street in like 1970s Times Square when it was all like full of like sleazy porno theaters and stuff, right? And like, he's on his way, you know, to go shake down a pimp, to get some information on some dope pusher or something or some shit. And after that, there's going to be like a car chase between like a Camaro and a Chevy Nova. But man, that song is 1,000% the soundtrack to that movie, and I love it. That song is a vibe. It's a time capsule. It's a period piece, and I literally will listen to that song on repeat. And period. That's it. That's all I got. And
I don't even know if I'd heard it. I'm sure at some point I heard it, but I had to do my homework for this one. The first thing that came to my mind was this should be on a Quentin Tarantino soundtrack,
yeah,
and then I thought about Coco Chanel, who she's famous for saying, "Get ready to go, look at yourself in the mirror, and then lose one accessory," right? So I'm like, record the song and then lose the flute, lose the horns, which is kind of what they did when they
they
released it for
did.
real as
Yeah,
Kiss.
they stripped it down. They made it a Kiss song, and it worked. It works as both. But I'm just saying, I love the vibe that that song puts out, and that's the only way I can describe it as a vibe.
I get it. I get it. Yep.
And I just that little movie plays in my head. There's there's film grain, and it's a little bit out of focus, and it's shot kind of guerrilla style, man. But that movie plays in my head when I hear that song, and you're sitting in a grindhouse theater where you can probably smoke.
The
You
floors are
probably
sticky.
Yes, exactly. That was going to be
Yeah.
the next thing I said. Yep. But that's the movie that plays in my head when you hear the Wicked Lester version of She, and I'm
Honestly,
into it.
I think I like your movie better than the song.
Well, the movie has to have the song with it, and it would be amazing. I'd watch that flick.
Agreed. Agreed. Man, that was fun. That was fun.
Yeah,
Okay, but before we wrap things up, one question. These
okay,
are all songs that have some redeeming quality to it, even if it's
sure.
just a microscopic little sprinkle on top. What's one Kiss song you can think of that is just completely straight up US Prime grade A, irredeemable on every possible level? What are you thinking?
Easy answer. Then she kissed me.
You've mentioned that
It's
before.
okay. That song is fine as a 1963 song by the Crystals, a 1960s girl group. Okay, it's fine. It should have stayed there. There's no fucking reason for Kiss to have ever done that song. Does not
Especially
pull
on that record.
on that
Especially,
record.
yeah.
Here's the funny thing about it is that it's almost fitting that that was the last song that they recorded in the studio before taking like a year-long break or 2 year long break and coming back with Dynasty. Like they left all the rock behind, and that was a little foreshadowing that they were going to go pop or disco or whatever they decided to do.
A little
I don't
teaser.
know. That song is horseshit, and that never should have been done.
Fair
And
enough.
yeah,
I think I can
what do you
beat it.
got?
I
Oh,
think
oh,
I think not only the worst Kiss song ever, but quite literally one of the worst songs ever, Read My Body.
Oh yeah, that was
It's it's just
that's
so bad.
that was honestly that song is so bad that's almost low hanging fruit to pick that one.
Fair enough, fair enough.
But man, no, dude, but you are 100% right.
That said, I did see somebody do a cover of it on YouTube once. It was like a teenager. He put his heart and soul into it, and I'm like, okay, there's that. I'll give him that.
Well,
I'll take that version any day over the Kiss
yeah.
version.
You
But
know, when you're looking through all the Reddit threads, it'd be really interesting to see if anybody can stick up for that song.
well, if you can, let us know. Find us
For sure.
on Gmail or track us down on Instagram. It's Rip and Destroy Podcast. Love to hear your list. Love to get your thoughts. And you had a great idea about putting the playlist back up on Spotify.
Yeah, let's since we just came up with these 5 songs each, I'll create a playlist. I can probably do it on Spotify and YouTube, and I'll create a list of our favorite unpopular Kiss songs so that you guys can check them out too. And by all means, comment and email and let us know if you can redeem these songs, if you can shoot some more bullets in these songs, and which songs that are generally unpopular that you like, or even which songs are the worst things that Kiss has ever puked onto vinyl.
Or if there's anything else you'd like to hear us talk about, let us know because we
For
got some
sure.
stuff in the works. But I'd love to get your ideas.
Absolutely.
Thanks for hanging out, man. That was fun.
Yeah, you too. Shandy, the nights will come and for the beer must last me forever.
Kill the power, Phil. Kill the power.